Without further ado, what we're talking about today is Dragon Ball Super, the Dragon Ball series that is currently the main canon series. No anime right now, but it's been going on in manga for some time. But we've had a kind of long hiatus because Dragon Ball decided to veer into this retelling of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, a milestone for this show because me and Matt went out to an anime movie together. We went on a boys' date to the anime movie, and it was Matt's first time.
And Kofi fell asleep.
I did fall asleep at one point, but not because Dragon Ball Superhero isn't dope. It was just a time in my life where going out to late night screenings was hard. So I was doing a lot and I fell asleep. But you didn't have to share that part. Thanks, Matt. Nice callback. But we are now for the first time really getting our official setup for a match in canon of Goku, the hero of Dragon Ball, versus his son Gohan. Now, if you're not an anime nerd like a lot of us up here, me, Evan, Connor, Casey over there quietly, nonchalantly, also murking out about this, is Gohan in Dragon Ball Z, the thing that really broke this franchise open as a worldwide hit. That whole series was largely about building up Gohan as the successor to Goku, the Saiyan, half Saiyan who would rise to power, surpass his father, and become the most powerful of them all. We then got to Dragon Ball Super, which takes place within the span of Dragon Ball Z, but not before the final ending of that series. And for all the years of Dragon Ball Super, Gohan's been gone, like for the most part. He's shown up here and there in like Black Goku Black Saga, and like flashbacks of his alternate future self. We've had like loose Gohan. The anime did something different at least, and it made it exciting that when Gohan joined the Universe 17 for the Universal Survival bout, they had an episode where he sparred with his dad, Goku, to see where his powers were at compared to Goku, who had been jumping through like Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan Blue Red to Super Saiyan Blue, and had largely left Gohan behind. That's the last time we've seen these two come together. Now, just like comic books, in anime, a lot of lunchroom discussions are had about Goku as a father or lack thereof, and there's a great joke in the latest chapter of Dragon Ball Super about that, and also who could truly be the strongest based on everything that's happened here, Goku or Gohan. Along comes Dragon Ball Super Chapter 101, which is this kind of weird epilogue between the end of the superhero movie and the beginning of this next chapter. For anybody who didn't see the movie, Gohan jumped power levels in that movie to a new form called Beast. Dragon Ball, really getting intricate with these power-ups and their names, but it's just called Beast. But the question, as always, is when Dragon Ball does this, how does this fit into the power hierarchy? Goku and Vegeta have been spazzing through different levels of power. Vegeta went his own route. He does Ultra Ego.
Oh my God.
Ultra Ego, yes. Goku has been learning the heavenly technique of Ultra Instinct and the various masteries of that. So how does this all stack up against Gohan and Beast? Well, Chapter 101 gave us the ultimate cliffhanger as Goku comes to find out. Gohan goes Beast, Goku appears, and it looks like we might get a sparring between father and son. Who you guys got? That's the basic premise of this whole segment. Who you got? Evan, you're the guest. We brought you on and dragged you out of bed for this. So what do you think about this? Do you think Dragon Ball is going to deliver on this? Are we going to get faked out on this? And who do you think should emerge as the most powerful from this little, what's going to be probably either a friendly sparring session or Goku trying to rein in Gohan? Either way.
Ooh, loaded questions. I think that to start, for me personally, who I would be pulling for is, I'm a big Gohan guy, especially when it comes to Gohan versus his dad Goku. I think at the end of the day, if I were to really have to say who my favorite Dragon Ball character was, it would probably be a tie between Vegeta and Piccolo. I love them both. Don't make me choose. If when it came down to who I think would win in this fight, I think that when it comes to straight up strength, I think that more often than not, what we've seen during the superhero movie and a couple of nods in this latest chapter, I think that Gohan's beast form is maybe a little bit stronger than Goku's Ultra Instinct, but With that being said, I think that Goku's mastery of this form, as well as his martial arts skill, as well as what Ultra Instinct is at its core, I think that Ultra Instinct is kind of it's kind of a perfection of fighting in general. I think that one of the things that Ultra Instinct is known for is the idea that you're subconsciously, when you're fighting against your opponent, your body is kind of taking control without you realizing what you're even doing. So I think that if Goku and Gohan are to fight each other again in the coming chapters, I think that Goku's going to kind of have an edge when it comes to the fight between the father and son. With all that being said, I'm really pulling for Gohan. I really do want him to win this, but if I had to put money down on it, I'd probably go Goku. I'd probably lean a little more towards the countless versions of Ultra Instinct that Goku has learned since the Tournament of Power. I think he's on, might be at a baker's dozen at this point if you've been following the manga. There's so many. But yeah, when all is said and done, when the smoke clears, I'd probably give it to Goku.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, the Gohan hive is now getting riled up. Connor, we rarely get to hear you cook about Dragon Ball. What do you think about this matchup?
So it's probably going to go to Goku, not just because it's called Dragon Ball and in the end Goku always wins. It's because how these two power-ups are being presented. Beast Gohan is very nebulous in what it actually is. The movie kind of explains it. The manga also tried to explain it a little bit. I still feel like the jury's out on just how strong he is with it and how it affects him during a fight. I do like how in this new chapter he's able to turn it on right away. It doesn't need to be a long power-up process. There's no great mystery behind it. He can just do it. That being said, they keep tinkering with Goku's Ultra Instinct thing to the point where in the last saga they flat out said, "Yeah, I'm not going to do the silver white hair thing anymore like I did against Jiren. I don't. It doesn't work for me. The halfway version where his hair is still black is actually kind of his preference. So all the artwork of the father and son, white hair versus white hair, it's actually a misnomer because it's not what Goku actually wants to do. And I see Evan shaking his head because he's with me on this. I think Goku gets the win nominally. And I think if anything comes from it, it's that Gohan hasn't quite figured out what this is and how he can use it properly. I will just say this. The big complaint with Super amongst its earlier chapters was that it was the Goku and Vegeta show and everybody was kind of in the background. I think Super Hero went a long way into making the rest of the cast feel relevant. You gave Piccolo that orange boost. You gave Gohan this new technique. More characters are becoming more prevalent in this story where it's not just, wow, the power gap is massive between the big two and everybody else. But as for this fight, Goku gets the win.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Okay. All right. We got two Gokus. Oh man, I feel like at the beginning of the last Eagles game. Oh boy, and we all know how that turned out. Though. So I think I don't ever trust Dragon Ball to do anything solid. That's me. I never trust Dragon Ball to do anything solid. So I think it's going to be a kind of cop-out draw, but with conditions. I think Ultra Instinct allows Goku to, like you said, it's this kind of mind state thing where you're supposed to be serene and kind of calm, and it's that old Zen kind of martial arts mentality that in the midst of great stress, like the calmness is the antithesis, is like the greatest power to, accessing the greatest fighting forms. So I think that'll play its own role in teaching kind of Goku more about that. I think Gohan's beast mode and what makes Gohan better is the sudden unpredictable surges that come from this kid, where you don't know these moments. Like when he flips out against Cell originally and goes Super Saiyan 2, that's a jump that like nobody saw coming, like that this kid was going to make. Same thing with Beast against Cell Max. It was an echo. So every time Gohan awakens some kind of power or something, it's this unpredictable surge. There's always this indication that there's this huge well inside of him that he can tap into. And I think that's what's going to be the interesting thing about this matchup, because Gohan isn't Broly, so he's not totally out of control. But there's something in this latest issue that suggests that Beast Mode is kind of this more Hulk-like thing, because everybody's like, whoa, he just flipped out in an instant and he's more aggressive and he went beast. So he is kind of edging into that Broly territory, but with that like reserve of power and being able to just do crazy things because he just simply has the power. Goku will have the control. But like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. So it'll be interesting to see like how Goku can maintain Ultra Instinct when something as unrelenting as Gohan in Beast Mode is knocking the living crap out of him through mountains continuously. And if he can maintain that, or if he's like going to flip out and lose that thing and start going like Super Saiyan 3 or something else that uses that aggression, you know what I mean? So I think that'll be the stalemate. It'll be like Goku can control him, but and restrain him, but barely. And like Gohan is, if they kept going, if it was a real fight, it would be one of those things. If this was a real fight, I'm not sure I could have followed you. One of those things. I think that'll be the indication that Goku still has that daddy control now, but the son is definitely boiling over with stuff that will one day kind of outpace him, which is pretty much fatherhood in a nutshell. I can tell you that right about now. Yeah, and I think as Addy Addo was saying in the Twitch comments here, I think also, in Dragon Ball, you also got to keep an eye on the time, right? Because these people can't keep that pep up forever. So it's going to be who runs out of pep first. And I feel like you guys are right in the sense that Goku's been through the trial and error with Ultra Instinct, kicking out on him at the worst moments. And he's learned how to harness that, where Gohan is just still all emotion. He got into this beast mode because felt like someone was coming at his kids. He went into daddy bear mode, and you never know how long that's going to last. If we can pull back for the last part of this segment, and let me ask you guys, because this is like the most exciting talking point. Like, let's be honest, this has been the most exciting talking point we've had in the Dragon Ball Super series in like a year, because we've been slogging back through that superhero retelling, which didn't necessarily need to happen. I get they expanded a lot of things, but do you guys feel like we're at a good power point in Dragon Ball right now where there's like interesting enough powers, balanced out enough? Or do you think it's still kind of a massive hurdle with this series getting all of this kind of, no pun intended, leveled out?
I'll start by saying that one of the things that I really love about Dragon Ball Super right now, and it has its faults. I think that nobody's going to really dispute that at this point. I think that like when you compare it to Dragon Ball Z, it doesn't hit the same heights. I think that it still follows a lot in the footsteps of that original series. Like even Gohan becoming Gohan Beast was kind of a reflection of him becoming Super Saiyan 2 when he was fighting against the original Cell, things like that. There are aspects of this current arc that I am super excited for. Most predominantly, I love the decision to bring Frieza back. I've been a huge proponent of it. He was the best part of the Tournament of Power. Backstabbing people was such a good aspect of that. He's an amazing character to have there. And the idea that he is the new strongest being in the universe is a very interesting hook. And I really, really hope that they dive into that. That's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to. And kind of like, as Connor and Kofi, as you kind of said and alluded to, the idea of being able to give Gohan and Piccolo these new transformations is such a breath of fresh air. I know that retreading the superhero movie in the manga was, it kind of felt like, can we just get to new stuff? And maybe like the superhero stuff with Goten and Trunks wasn't like the stuff that people were looking for. I think that with this new arc where they are potentially going in the future, is really exciting to me. I don't know what's coming next. We don't necessarily know as Dragon Ball fans what is going to happen next. And I think that that's kind of refreshing. Me personally, I'm hoping that we get another big tournament where we are able to see maybe Frieza at the top of it, and we kind of see where it goes from there. I'm excited for what they're doing now. While I do think that some of the power level stuff is, at a certain point, it's just like, okay, they can destroy universes by sneezing at this point. But I'm excited to see where they go with it, and I'm looking forward to see what they do in the near future.
All right. Sorry, Connor, go ahead.
Well, I think that the whole Black Frieza thing is interesting. It's what you do with him that's really going to determine whether or not this matters or not. If it's just, hey, I'm stronger, Broly, Vegeta, and Goku come at me, and that's it, well, then it's just the Moro arc again, and then we're not as intrigued. What I would love is for them to start diving back into the other universes that were introduced in the Tournament of Power, and the angels and that hierarchy that was very clearly in there. I think I remember there was reference of a universe that had already been destroyed that we're all just kind of like, wait, what happened there? Why aren't they here? What's happening? I would love for Frieza and our main cast to be dropped back into Universe 6 and have a big conflict there, because there were so many characters introduced in that specific realm that I went, man, I just want an arc with Hit. Just superpowered Hitman, bring it on. The smaller version of the Saiyans, that sounds like fun. Shake up the formula a little bit, because the other big complaint is, hey, we're just kind of going through the motions. We can't really escape the shadow of DBZ. That would be something different by placing them in an entirely new environment.
Yeah, I think we're long overdue. I think a lot of that that Tournament of Power arc was the freshest thing we got from Dragon Ball in years. And I feel like I'd be disappointed too if Frieza was there. Frieza knows all this stuff about alternate universes and conquering more than just one now, right? So, and I think Frieza during the Tournament of Power kind of alluded to wanting to be able to do things like conquer more than one universe. So I'd be disappointed if we didn't go there and we just went back to a standard Dragon Ball fight. At the same time, I don't think we've ever had a Gohan versus Frieza serious fight, have we? In this series.
Mostly
Like
just Frieza toying with him back on Namek.
When he was a boy on Planet Namek, that's it, right? Like, that doesn't count. So I think I want to see Gohan throw down with Frieza. That's at least one novelty I would love to see. Is just
he does one-shot him in one of the movies, but that doesn't count, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so I want to see a Gohan versus Frieza battle, because we haven't seen that in a while. But yeah, other universes, there's so much that they did with the Tournament of Power that I feel like we haven't been getting back to, that is so rich. So yeah, man, I'm with you guys. Chapter 102 of Dragon Ball Super is going to be a hell of a thing, I think. And I think we'll be back to kind of see where the dust settles and see where all of our little predictions landed. But yeah, this has been fun kind of nerding out with you guys about some Dragon Ball. Do you guys have any parting thoughts before we get out of here?
Connor, you?
I'm still nervous about Daima, but we haven't heard anything more about it, and Evan knows that.
Yeah, that's right. Oh man,
I feel confident that Daima will at least give us some good animation. I mean, like, at the end of the day, there is some cool stuff that we saw in the trailers. Yeah, I'm optimistic about Dragon Ball Super's future. I'm looking forward to see what they do with all the new pieces that they've put on the board. And yeah.
All right. Yeah, Dragon Ball Daima is such a, like, Dragon Ball, is it Dragon Ball Daima or Dragon Ball Super Daima? I forget what it's, was it Dragon Ball
just
Daima?
Dragon Ball Daima.
Yeah, that's such a different, oh my God, topic of discussion. But we do have an excellent trailer breakdown for that. So go into our Comic Book Nation YouTube page and check that out.